Hello, everybody, and good evening from wherever you're watching us from. This is your favorite spot, the Youth Nation Show. And as we usually say, this is a spot that we come and discuss issues that are affecting the young people and give them solution and ways to navigate through these problems. And today, I'm so excited for this episode. I'm telling you, you're in for a treat. And we want to have this discussion today. A topic that one way or the other, in one point in our lives, we have wrestled with this question. We have asked ourselves, what are we here for? What were we created to do? What were we born to do? What influence were we made to impact in this world that we live in? And so we are going to talk about purpose and calling. These are two words that are normally thrown around, and somehow they look like they're out of reach, but we are going to demystify. What exactly is purpose? What exactly is calling? Are these two things the same or they're different? Are we really called to walk on a particular path in life? Or we are just open to enjoy life and experience life as it comes? And today I'm excited because we have a guest on set, and I'm telling you guys, you're not ready for this. But before that, I'm going to introduce our panel tonight, and I will let them introduce themselves. Karibuni sana.
My name is Charlene Maina. I'm a journalist by profession, and I'm locked in for the show tonight.
Karibu
Asante.
sana. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the invite. My name is Ron Kenoli Okusi. I'm a forex trader and also a marketer. So very glad to be here.
Thank you so much. So if you're there and you're trying to search or find purpose, or you're there stuck in a track, let me tell you, this is your episode, because you're going to know exactly what you're looking for. And without much ado, please help me invite on set our guest, Dr. Victory Godspower. And this is a man with so many caps, but I'm going to let him introduce himself. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Great. Kindly introduce yourself to our viewer tonight.
Well, I'm Victory Godspower. And first and foremost, I want to say it's exciting being on your show.
Oh, yes.
And of course, you should know I'm also a Gen Z, and being a Gen Z
I think
is...
you meant Gen Z at heart.
No, I am. I'm probably very, very younger than you. You just don't know it, you know?
Right, okay.
But it's interesting being here on your show, and I'm looking forward to have a great time with you. Well, I am the CEO of Grandeur Group of Companies, an organization that has been running for over 25 years now. We're based in Johannesburg, in Europe, and of course in some other part of Africa. And I happen to pastor the Crown Church for the last 10 years, and the church is doing very well across Asia, Africa, Canada, United States of America, and of course across the balls of Africa. So it's always exciting to be around youth, and because I'm one, I'm sure that I will be able to share my youthful experience with everyone here. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for creating time to be here with us. And you have heard, I told you he's a man of many caps. But today he's going to help us this discussion. We know we are living in an era of information. We are swimming in information, but what is scarce is the truth. And what we want to get out of this topic today is the truth. When you talk about purpose, calling, what exactly are we talking about? And maybe to start us off, Charlene, do you know your purpose in life?
I'm not sure. Let me just say that.
Okay, Ron, what do you believe you're called in to do in this life?
Well, I'm trying to still figure it out, because figuring it out in the spiritual sense, in the the normal outside way, the secular way.
Space.
Yeah.
Now you can hear. We are not sure where we are, and we just want you to help us to demystify and just unpack. When you talk about purpose, what exactly do we mean?
Well, it's exciting to hear that you just asked, do you know what your purpose is? And she said, I'm not sure. And in this time and in this age, it is quite unfortunate that most of our youth, young people growing up, do not really know where they're going to.
Absolutely.
And, for us to define the word purpose itself is very simple. This is your mandate on earth to become what God wants you to be.
Okay.
Why are you here? Why are you created? What do you want to become? And all this begins with aspiration, getting to understand your nature as an individual.
Okay.
There is something that you are born to become on earth. And there is not one person God has ever created and placed on earth without a purpose.
Yeah.
Because from the day of conception to the day you were born, God has given you something to fulfill on earth.
That's true.
And I'll tell you why I say that. You discover that most children today, I think that we should start by dealing with the problem in Africa, because most Western children already know their purpose from small.
It is true.
But
It's
with
true.
Africa, maybe our parents, I always make references to my parents.
Yeah.
Maybe our parents do not really take the time to nurture us and see what God has given us from birth as we began to grow as a little child. The reality is this: in our time today, in today's world, you discover that there are Android phone, iPhones that are being produced far away from
It
Africa.
is true.
But our children are able to operate that
Yeah.
without touching the phone, without reading the manual.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of us still needs a manual to go through a phone.
It is true.
But if you look at the children of today, they just pick up the phone and they operate it.
They know their way.
They
around
know
it.
their way. It tells you only one thing:
Yeah.
they have a purpose. There is something God had given to them even before they were born. Now, for you to discover your purpose or even understand your purpose is very simple. What are the things you are good at doing? What are the things you are good? Listen, you don't just happen. Something happens through you.
Okay.
And you need to know that.
Yeah.
If you are an hairdresser, it is possible that hairdressing can help you discover your purpose on earth.
Okay.
If you are a beautician, it is possible that that is just a starting point to show you the light of where you are going to.
Yeah.
So the problem here is not with the youth. It is you understanding yourself. Because if you don't know you, you cannot unleash all that you have.
Yeah,
There is
sure.
so much potential in you as a youth. And until you begin to discover you, you cannot tell what your purpose is.
Yes, true. And so does that mean that our purpose are tied to our passions and interests?
Absolutely. Anything you love doing, when you begin to unpack it, it begins to give you direction on what your purpose on earth will be.
Okay.
I'll give you an instance just to help you.
Yeah.
Growing up, I grew up loving football. And I ended up playing soccer professionally, played for some of the biggest team in the world. But if I did not follow that dream of mine, the passion that I had, I will never play soccer professionally.
Oh, wow. And as someone asked before we got here on set, they were asking, does purpose really, is it just tied around spiritual things? Because when you talk about purpose and calling, the first thing someone will think will be the fivefold. They are called to be preachers, ministers, to be teachers, and all that. Now, but you're talking about being a footballer. Is your football, you playing football, connected to your purpose in life?
No, completely no. There is a purpose and there is a calling. These are two different things. They look synonymous, but they are not the same. A purpose is your identity.
Okay.
Discovering who you are through your interest, through the things you're passionate about, that drives you into fulfilling your God's given mandate on earth. But your calling is something unique. I'll tell you why I said that.
Yes.
I've never said this publicly, but I think I'm going to say it on your show.
It's time.
Now, my mother had a prophecy one particular day, walking on the street. a prophet, so-called prophet, according to our words. She called him so-called prophet, but the prophecy came to pass.
Yeah.
She was walking one fateful afternoon on the street, and this guy stopped her and said to her, "The baby in your womb is a prophet sent to the nations of the world." And my mother looked at this guy like, come on, you cannot
are
be
you?
serious.
What are you talking about?
Number one, she wasn't expecting any child. Number two, she was on a menstruation. She knew obviously she was not pregnant. Yes, she really wanted a female child. She already had 3 boys. But I think at that point she was even tired of children, because the first was a boy, the second was a boy, and the third was a boy. And man, she gave up. And now come this so-called prophet, according to her, giving her prophecy, the baby in your womb. So for her, this is just one of those fake guys. How can you tell me I'm actually on my second day of menstruation, and you're telling me the baby in my womb is a prophet to the nation? So she just looked at this guy, and man, this guy could be crazy. And the guy repeatedly said that, look, this baby will come at God's own time. That baby in your womb, do everything you can to nurture him. And my mother got upset because he used the word him.
Oh my God.
She already had 3 boys. And now you're saying him again. So she walked away and got home and said to my dad, well, I met some fake prophet on the street today who had just told me the baby in my womb is a prophet unto the nation. Now, this is the worst of it all. He said, nurture him.
He mentioned him.
He mentioned him.
Oh my God.
And I'm looking for a gal. Are you telling me him? Said, well, so they laughed around it. And, they just took that word for granted. But guess what? 3 months later, my mother was sick, went to the hospital, tests were carried out. She was already 3 months pregnant.
Oh my God.
That's just the beginning of the story.
Okay.
And she was like, but it's not possible. For the last 3 months, I've been on my menstruation. So I cannot. And the doctor said, well, it is possible that you still have your menstruation and you're pregnant. These things happen. Science has also proved it. Well, she accepted her fate and understood that indeed the person who spoke to her was a prophet, not just so-called prophet, because only that person could have known that she was pregnant. But guess what? I think get yourself ready, because I'm about to blow your mind off.
Please do.
She carried this pregnancy for 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah, I think now I told you. I can see you're ready for this now. 7 years she had my pregnancy. So I was in my mother's womb for 7 years.
Is that possible?
Well, everybody asks the same question. I also ask when I'm told the story. But then the medical report shows that she had fibroid, not a baby.
Oh.
And this fibroid was growing like a baby. And the reality is, to cut the long story short, she had to stay with this for 7 years. There were reasons for her to be operated, and her womb was going to be taken off because she had multiple fibroid, according to the medical report. And this was, beginning to affect the vital organs of her body. But basically, she was booked in for a surgery. But guess what? The doctors went on strike.
My God.
And the strike lasted for 12 months.
Oh, Jesus. That's a
And even when they came back, one thing or the other would happen on the days of appointment given to her. And God was just in this. Why? Because I have a calling. Let me cut this long story short and tell you how the end looks. One particular day, I know that can't be easy as you're hearing this. I keep looking at her blessed be her late memory now. And I asked her, how did you cope for 7 years? What happened to my dad? There are many times my father almost walked away because of the whole scenario. But my mother hung on to the prophecy, all the signs of the events that had happened, and she was not getting operated. She was like, man, this can only be God wanting me to give birth to a child. So she automatically stay against everything the doctor's report says and now believe that she had a child in her womb. And moreover, she said she kept having the symptoms. Remember, she had 3 children before me. So she knew that, this is a baby. She was feeling all those symptoms. So she believed for the first time that if all these events had happened and she cannot be operated and she's still feeling the signs that she had a baby, then this is possibly a baby. So she refused, even when the opportunities were given now for the operation, that I'm not going to be operated. I'm going to give birth to my baby. And she had that faith. And that was a very big problem in her marriage. My father almost walked away because you're like, you want to die? What's going on? Those kind of stuff. But guess what? One fateful afternoon, 7 years later, she was just seated at home and her water broke. And she had that experience on 3 occasions before the 4th one. So she quickly asked for people to help her that her water just broke. And you can imagine some women came in and they thought she urinated on herself. And they were just like, man, this woman, you're not serious and all that. But for some reason, she said, please take me to the hospital. And they did. The doctors examined her and said, well, there was nothing wrong with you. There's no water that broke. And they left her in the ward and said, well, we'll call on your husband to come get you on his way from work. And she couldn't believe it. I'm telling you, I am on my first semester. And they said, well, you just stay here. There's nothing wrong with you. Fibroid has the same symptoms as pregnancy. So those are the symptoms you are having. Nothing is wrong with you. Guess what? She was left in the ward and they called on my dad to say, well, you need to pass from your work to get your wife. She's here.
Wow.
But while they were still on that phone call, they heard the cry of a baby coming out of the same ward. So I was given birth to without a midwife, without a doctor, with nobody on the room. They ran into that room and they found the baby. So don't ask me why I'm so dark. It's because I spent 7 years in the womb. I was already an old guy before I came into the world. But basically, that's my story. And that is how my calling started. My mother had to nurture me knowing that I'm a special child. So don't ask why I have double barrel time bomb names, Victory and Godspower. So you can tell where the stories are coming from. And now, this is the most interesting part. With all the informations at my disposal, at the age of 7, I started preaching the gospel.
7 years old.
7 years old. And I've been preaching the gospel now for 41 years. Wow. And guess what? I knew that I had a call from God. Nobody taught me the Bible. Nobody told me what to do. I just found myself doing things God's way. And I knew I had a calling. But then what am I called to do? And that is the most interesting part about our conversation here today. It is easy for God to call you, but what is He calling you to do?
Before you proceed, I feel like someone is asking themselves, how does God call someone? But if you relate to the story of Samuel, he felt he had the voice. And every time he woke up, he thought it was Eli calling him. And Eli will send him back. Until that time that it came to Eli and he told him, if you hear it again, say, Lord, I'm here. So someone might be thinking that when God calls, He calls like, that voice. Someone might think it's that thunder voice. Maybe you can just help us understand. How does the call of God
Well, there
come
are
about?
various ways God will call you. you've just given a practical example of Samuel.
Yeah.
Samuel heard a voice without understanding.
Yeah.
And there are times God will be calling you through a situation.
Mhm.
You're having a
Wow.
problem.
Mhm.
You think you're dealing with a
The
problem, but it is actually God trying to get your attention to what He wants to do with you.
Oh, wow.
So there are various ways. Sometimes you have a dream
Mhm.
and you find yourself doing a particular thing consistently,
Mhm.
and you do not even understand that it is the call
Yeah.
of God. So
Mhm.
God has diverse ways of calling you.
Okay.
It could even be at your place of work.
Mhm.
I've seen people who got sacked from work for doing the right thing. And they never knew that the only reason they were doing it is because God was calling them to be a shepherd and to be able to lead.
Yeah.
But time and over time has taught us that God works in a mysterious way.
Yeah.
His call comes in a different way, and He does not call you the way you want to be called. God can call anybody at any time. And look at this interesting thing. There was a case of in the Bible of a man and a woman
Yeah.
who had been caught in the act of adultery.
Mhm.
Now, the Constitution at that time state that any woman caught
Yeah.
in the act of adultery should be stoned to death.
Yes.
But it takes two to commit the sin.
Absolutely.
So why would the woman be killed and the man remain, to commit more adulteries? So, but now hear this. I want to bring a very particular story that most people do not know. Jesus came into the scene,
Yeah.
and Jesus told the people, well, if you be the first that has not seen here, be the first to also cast the stone.
Yeah.
And everybody dropped their stone and left. Now, that scene was a call for that woman.
Wow.
Guess what? Jesus, on his way to the cross of Calvary, the same woman showed up. The same woman was the same woman that wiped the feet of Jesus with an oil and her hair.
Yeah.
It was a calling.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
It was a calling. She had an encounter from a deadly situation to believe in Jesus. So there are many of us, especially youth. God is calling us through one situation or the other. God is calling our attention to some things that we're struggling with. I've seen people who got the call of God through failing examinations.
Why are you
I-
laughing?
I-
Can you
yeah.
relate?
Yeah,
relating.
they failed exams, and prior to the exams, they knew God. They were praying and they were talking to God and asking God to give them wisdom rather than studying.
Yeah.
So when they failed, they got broken, and God has to look for a way of amending those acts and begin to show them the path He wants them to go. And I've always said this: education is very good. If you are not educated, you cannot speak good English.
Yeah.
It is very good. But the call of God has nothing to do with education.
Oh, yeah.
God can call you. He calls the disqualified and qualify them.
Yeah.
So the quality of the call that you will receive from God is only traceable to Him. He knows when and how to call you. But more importantly, if you want to know that God has called you to do a thing, this is how you know.
Yeah.
You know by the things He's leading you to do. What are the things? You could be on the camera and you have so much passion.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where God wants to use you, especially in the church. You can find yourself praying so much. You can find yourself being told to do certain things in the dream, and you're just asking you, why me? Why can I'm not bold? Like Jeremiah, when he had the call of God, he was a stammerer. And God called him and said, well, I can speak. I'm not bold. I don't have all the boldness to speak. What would a stammerer say?
Yeah.
But look at it. At the end of the day, he spoke.
Sure.
And there are many youth that are actually running away from the call. They are like Jonah, whom God has called and sent to go to Nineveh, and they want to go to Tarshish.
It is true.
And God has a way.
Yeah.
No matter how far you run, He will get
Gets
you,
you.
find you, and
And
bring
bring
you to
you.
the call.
That's very interesting. And I think, when you mentioned that God calls us in diverse ways, and there's this aspect of education that you have mentioned. There's someone who maybe, and as you mentioned, especially this thing that happens here in Africa, parents want their children to do the white collar jobs. So your mother, your father will do anything for you to go to medicine school, to become an engineer, to become so and so. Those, those kind of courses and jobs, And so you are there. Your mother has pushed you to become a doctor. Now here you are in this secular world and you are a doctor. How does that work and connect to your calling in life?
Oh, good. Unfortunately, my mother never wanted me to be a businessman because she wants me to be a prophet.
Oh my God.
She wants me to do what she was told.
Yeah.
But listen, she was never stopping me at any time to get education. In fact, she did everything for me to get education.
Yeah.
But I find out that, well, I have a call to serve God, but I still have a purpose, like our discussion is on earth.
Yeah.
And I need to discover my purpose as much as I want to fulfill the call of God.
It is true.
So one of the things I tried to do was looking at my mother and the motivations I got from her being a market woman.
Yeah.
I did share one of my program here on how I was coming into Kiambu for the very first time, and I passed through the little market right down the road, and it reminds me of my humble beginning because it brought the picture of my mother. I will find her, on the marketplace. She stays there the whole day. I don't know how much she makes, but she was able to put food on the table. Now, one of the biggest challenge I knew my mother had, she never had education, no proper education. So I was making some research as a little boy. As much as I want to serve God, what about if I study this business my mother is doing and have that, advanced way of doing it better than ending up like her? So that prompted me to go study business administration.
Wow, we are
So
going to hold it there. Oh my God. This conversation is getting heated and I know you're learning a lot. Kindly, if you don't have your pen and book, grab it so fast. We are going to take a very short commercial break and we'll be right back. Don't touch that dial. Keep it PrayerCave TV. Thank you so much for tuning in and keeping it here at PrayerCave TV. And I know you're loving the show tonight as we talk matters, purpose, and calling. And it's so interesting that you're getting to learn a lot of things and even hearing a testimony. Someone who stayed in the womb for 7 years. This person needs to write a book about this story. This one is interesting. Kindly continue as you're telling us that what you wanted to do is do things different than the way your mother was doing it. And that's why you wanted to get education in business.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have ended up like my mother because I know she would always sit under the sun and rain to sell. But I thought there could be another way of doing business and do it well and make more money. That drove me into studying business administration. And I studied that, but it never took me away from the call of God. Because most youth make mistakes. And one of the biggest mistakes is to die in the church.
Shots fired.
Die in the church. Stay in the church. Morning to night, fasting, praying, and doing everything. But yet there is a future. You've got a future. You've got a life that you need to live after church. And I keep telling most people in church, please don't think that your prayers, your fasting, and so much dedication will put food on the table. Discover your purpose. Discover something else. Pray. There is this adage that says, heaven help those who help themselves.
Is that true?
No, it is true. It is true because church do not provide everything for you. Church provide you the spiritual awakening. Church brings you closer to God. But the reality is church does not pay your bills.
True.
And I tell you, most youth, discover your purpose. As you serve God, look out for yourself. What is it that you have passion to do? And that is what I did. I studied, I went to school, and literally, my parents had no money to send me to school. But I went to the university. While in the university, I realized that I was going to be thrown out of school for school fees. And of course, you're staying in an hostel, you need to pay for it.
Yeah, sure.
You need textbooks, you need to buy them. And I do not have this money, and I know there's no family member I can call, to help me. One of the things I did while in the university is to look out for something I can learn, pick up a skill. And that really helped me. You know what happened? At the wall outside the school, there are group of people, maybe 10, 20 of them. They are all shoemakers. They make money to feed their family from fixing our shoes as students. And they will all be there. And something started drawing my attention with the financial situation. Because I see the number of kids in the school, and I see that these about 10 of them on the walls, how students are always there fixing their shoes. Then I thought, man, what about if I go pick up these skills? If I can learn something like this, I could do this right inside the campus. And these students do not have to go outside the campus. And guess what? I went to one of the old men there and I said, please, is there a way you can teach me how to make shoes? Because I have a problem. And I explained. And this man looked at me and he said, my son, I will teach you everything you want to know.
Wow.
And today, I know how to fix my own shoes.
Wow.
And not just that, I was able to pay my school fees throughout university from sewing shoes.
You made that.
I made so much money.
Okay.
The only one thing I have not done is to start my own shoe factory.
Should think about it.
And you can imagine that.
Yeah.
I went through the university fixing my fellow students' shoes.
Wow.
And I do not have to sit off campus. I was riding campus and I was sewing the shoes. They bring it. In fact, at night, especially ladies can be so problematic, and they wait for night and bring their shoes and say, oh, I need to put these shoes for tomorrow. And sometimes I don't even have the materials. I will have to wake up and do something and even charge more than they could have paid. And I made so much. So you see, when you discovered your purpose, chase it. Your calling will not provide you food. Today, I'm a businessman of multinational companies because I decided to chase my purpose, and that didn't take away the call of God for me. But let me tell you one interesting part. I never wanted to become a pastor.
You are not interested.
I was never, just like many youth will not want to become a pastor.
They want to hear
You imagine you playing football, you enjoying this whole game, and you are having the emblem of a pastor in you. I never wanted to become a pastor. Who does? And I never wanted because I felt pastors were boring people.
Yeah.
And the only thing they talked about is just Jesus, and if you die, you go to hell. So I'm like, man, at least let me live my life. Then let me think of the consequences later. But it's interesting that when God calls you, He doesn't really care about some of the things you don't want to answer to. He has a way of preparing you for what He wants to do through you. And as much as I was playing football, and I thought, man, at least this is a way to get out of this thing of the call of God. God still found me.
In the field.
He found me in the field. And I ended up preaching to so many people. I went to Bible school right from the soccer field.
Wow.
So God can find you anywhere. But as youth, it is important. Chase your purpose. Wait for the call. You don't call yourself. God calls you. Serving God is good, but wait to hear him call you into doing something. I said this earlier on. God do not just call people. He called them and give them what to do. So most problematic situation we find around the church is that, especially as youth, you get so involved in the things of God that you want to be in the choir, you want to play the drum, you want to be an usher, you just want to be everywhere, which is exciting. But then, if God has called you, he called you into a thing. He doesn't call you into everything. And that is how you discover who you are. Because one of the things I started with was music. I knew I was called to sing. I just love singing. And nothing else interests me in the church more than singing. So I would sing. I mean, they would call me sometimes and say, man, you got a good voice. I think then I had a crocodile voice, not a good voice. It wasn't a good voice. But like, man, you can sing. You got a good voice. And I'm looking at this dangerous voice that is singing. But I just knew I love singing. So I would go to every choir practice and just sing and become interested in playing the drum. I can play the drum. I have not told you. And no one have seen me play the drum. And I would just be interested in playing the drum because I joined the boys brigade in our school days and all that. So I could play that. But I knew as I was singing that God was calling me to preaching. I knew. When I sing, things begins to happen in the atmosphere. But I knew this was a call because I was singing so differently among every other person. Now, let me tell you about the first day I became a preacher, because this is how I discovered what I am called to do. I was singing literally on the stage of our church. And God have mercy. I sang to an extent, I found a lot of people being slayed under the anointing, and people were receiving the baptisms of tongue. And, the atmosphere was so different. Then the next thing is I started preaching. I started preaching. I just found myself preaching. Man, I only knew one scripture at that time. John 3:16. For God so loved the world. And I was saying that profusely as many times as possible. And guess what? That was my message.
God loved the world.
God loved the world.
Amen.
Today, that one message has taken me all over the world.
Great.
And I found out that I was a preacher. And I've been preaching, and I faced the area of preaching to the word. So we talk about calling. Sometimes you could be called to be a pastor, a prophet, a teacher, an evangelist, an apostle. I am called into the apostolic field. And I've been an apostle all my life. And no matter what you do, don't give me a church to pastor, I will destroy it.
Because you're going everywhere.
Because I'm an apostle.
But now that got me thinking, how do we reconcile these things, purpose and calling? Because you've said purpose is what we find to do. Like for yourself, that time you did, you were in the football, you were in the pitch. But then again, there was this calling of God in your life. How do you even balance these things?
It is easy to balance once you know what you are supposed to do. It's like a student, and you have an exam coming up. And here are the 3 major papers every student want to pass. What are they? Mathematics, English, and one other. Depending on what you are doing. Now, the truth is this. If it is time for you to write maths, you don't take English and focus on it. You take your maths textbook and you begin to study. Now, it is easy. It's as easy as that. If you know what your passion is, follow it. Follow your passion in such a way that you are not being distracted. Distraction will bring you failure, and you don't want to fail. Most youth are failing today because they are too distracted. We spend so much time on social media rather focusing on what our passion are. Let me give you an example. Have you been to China? If you go to China, if you've not been there, I want you to visit China. China has a lot of factories. And in reality, these factories produce different things. But I want to shock you. Most of these factories, the people you find there are youth. Most old men do not work in China. They are at home. The youth controls the economy of China. And at the age of 7, they discover the skills in every one of their child. Whether you are dumb or you are wise, they ensure
There's something,
there's something in you.
out
They
of
take you out into the factory to show you. Today we are driving automobiles that are made by children. I'm not saying adult, I'm telling you children, because they taught them from small how to undo the knot, how to loose the knot, how to use the screwdrivers. And this kids grows up with this passion. Today, the best technicians, engineers, I mean, check it out. Everything is coming out of China. And you think old men are doing this? No. You need to go to these factories and see. From manufacturing to sales are handled by youth. What are the youth in Africa doing? In fact, we are so lazy to the extent that we are chasing monetization on social media to be paid for just TikTok, for having followers. Who cares how many people follows you? And what you're getting is literally peanut. Now, have you ever asked yourself, if you are being monetized and you are being paid a money that you called money, the people paying you, how much are they making? Have you thought how much Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, call on, just name them. Do you care how much they make for your stupidity? You become stupid and they become richer. So if you pick up a skill and you begin to follow it passionately, you make 20 times more than what you're making, if not 100 times more. But the problem is most youth do not follow their passion. We get too distracted in Africa. And the government is not even helping it. And most of us as youth, we think that our government is going to change things. That is why you find the Gen Zs every time protesting and begin to shout and scream. Now, our right does not change our situation. And as a matter of fact, until we wake up to the reality and begin to follow our dreams, look out for it. How many Kenyans are going overseas to become a domestic worker?
Thousands.
I mean, you just check it. Go to Dubai, go to Qatar, go to as far as Kuwait, the hottest place on earth. You'll find Kenyans there. They are not professionals. They are domestic workers. Now, for us to change this narrative is to begin to develop our potentials. Look out for something and begin to do it. I'll tell you this. African has the best doctors all over the world. The best doctors. Let me give you one shocker. These phones we are using are manufactured from China, America, and every other part of the world. When they are brought into Africa, it leaves the manufacturers. When your phone has a problem, who fix it? Someone there seated in town in Nairobi is going to fix it. Was he there when they manufactured it? He wasn't there. He does not even know the software they used, but he will fix it. It tells you that God has given Africans so much. Our youth are so blessed. We've got so much wisdom, so much, sensitivity that God has given to us. But the problem is we are not harnessing it. If we take our potentials, develop it, especially those of us in church, we know God, the source of blessings, and we take these potentials, harness them, work on it, build them, you discover that at the end of it all, Africa will be transformed. Kenya will not be what it is today. We will not need expertise to come into Africa to work. In fact, we will send expertise to Europe. You get the point. in Nigeria, for instance, they're building the biggest church in the whole world, the largest congregation in the whole world, being built by Bishop David Oyedepo of Winners Chapel. Guess what? The people building it are young youth. There are no experts from anywhere outside the country. They are youth, people who discovered their purpose. They did research. Don't spend time on social media not making research.
Swiping and swiping. There's something you've talked about, the purpose and the calling. What I'm getting is that calling goes while it shifts, different and different times. The issue here is there's a certain mind that people have about success, because now talking about purpose, definitely success is attached to it. And there's an urge for people to be successful, you know. What do you do in the period where you already know your purpose and your calling, but there's a place of waiting for you to actually manifest to your fullness?
It is a definite thing. In everything in life, you've got a season to wait. There is time for everything. Even as a little boy growing up, you did not start running.
Yeah.
It took you a while to sit. It took you a while to crawl. It took you a while to stand. It took you a while to start running. So when you find yourself in these times where you have to wait. Now, the interesting thing about waiting is that it is a preparative period for what you are going to become. Every time you find yourself waiting to get something done, don't just sit back and say, I'm waiting. Make sure that while you're sitting, you're doing something. The problem here is most youth are waiting for the big thing to happen when they're not doing the small thing. So always find yourself doing something while you wait. Don't just fold your hands. If you're a musician, keep singing, even in the bathroom. Raise your voice and sing. Don't wait for a producer, because when the producer comes, you are not ready. Each time you wait, get yourself in a preparative mode. Wait, there is always a right time for those things to come to pass, but get to do something. And most of us as youth in Africa, we are not lazy after all. We are just too distracted. Our youth are not lazy people. I mean, who eat all the, you know what I'm talking about? If you finish eating ugali, how can you say you are weak? You can't be weak. Obviously, the strength is there. We grow up eating ugali and we are very strong, very energetic people. But after the energy, we get distracted. And that's where the problem is. So if youth can stop getting distracted by the activities of life and start building their life in such a way that they know that there is a future ahead of them. It doesn't matter where they're coming from. It doesn't matter where they are born, because sometimes most youth will think, well, we are born poor. I was born poor. I'm no longer poor, and I'm not going to be poor.
Amen.
And my children are not going to be poor. And that is the reality. You understand what I'm saying? Recently, I discovered something that I didn't know. Whenever I traveled anywhere in the world, I make sure I gathered the coins from those nations and put them in. I hate coins, so I just put them somewhere, put them, but my daughter loves coins. So she would tell me, please bring them to me. So I kept giving it to her. And she brought a box. She asked me to buy her a box where she could save this. And I've been doing that for the last 3 years. Guess what? Recently, she told me that, man, my box is so full. And when I try to put coins, it doesn't get in. I say, it means we need to unpack. And we opened that box. Guess what? We counted it. My daughter worth 25,000 pounds for within 3 years. 25,000 pounds.
Wow.
All the coins she had saved there are from the British pounds. So each time I'm in England, I bring them, sometimes even the note. She had coins, she had note. they worth 25,000 pounds. Now she's waiting for me to go to the UK with those coins and change it into a note. Then I said to her, well, I'll change it, but the problem is I will not be allowed to carry that note back to you.
Yeah.
So she was like, then what happens to my money? I said, no, I'll have to open an account for you.
Yeah.
Look at her. She's just 10 years old. She has discovered a purpose that if I have to build a future, I need to save. Most youth has no saving plans. Rather, you prefer to buy a jean, a tackies, a shirt. You don't know where you're going to. You're not living your life in preparation for tomorrow. And a 10 years old already had 25,000 pounds. Now I told her I'll set up an account for you in the UK and you can use that. She said, well, that's not a bad idea. I could go to university in the United.
Wow.
I mean, she's got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But now she already knows that she can afford to sponsor herself to school. So you take your time. During your preparative time, do something meaningful with your life. Get to save some money. You don't want to become a big business guy or own a mansion, own those desirable cars without doing anything. Start doing something.
Talking about that, there's this person. Probably now the time is gone, their age is gone, and they've really not discovered what they were called to do. And now this person, they are there wallowing in the question of, I've wasted time and so much time is gone. Is there anything left for them?
There is always something left. No time is a wasted time. The thing is, when you tell yourself, I've wasted my time, that is when you become a waste. But if you say to yourself, I can still do something with my life, apparently you can start from that time. Now, I have a friend, Dr. Steve Mill. He's now in his 70 and he's doing his 4th doctorate degree. Fourth. And myself, I'm about to go study law.
Okay.
I want to study law, and I want to study law in international law is what I want to study, because I've been doing businesses around the world and I use different lawyers. And if I study international law, it will help me. There is not too much time to waste not doing something that thinking that you don't have the time. If you've made mistakes, don't die in it. Get up, correct it. How do you do that? Get to start doing something. If you wake up today and say, well, I've done this. I met a young lady who had left, I think he left about 3 years ago, South Africa. She's been in South Africa all her life, never went anywhere, but she had a boyfriend. And this boyfriend, they became boyfriends from school. So she felt, this is my soulmate, and I'm going to stay with him. I'm going to stick, and she's been abused so many times by this boyfriend. She refused to let go. And the truth is this, she had no future with this guy. So many things wasn't working out. And she was not going to let go. But one day she came into the church and she came for counseling. And she was telling me all the many things she wanted me to pray for. But yet, the only solution is for her to let go of her boyfriend. So I said to her, I said, well, I've heard everything you've said, but I can't pray for you. Unfortunately, there are certain things prayer cannot change, but there are things you can change. And she said, what? I said, let the guy go so that your eyes can be clear to see what future you have in front of you. She said, man, I cannot let 22 years relationship to go like that. To go like that. And I said, well, I cannot waste my time to pray for you if you cannot let a 22 years of bondage go like that. She looked at me. She literally broke into tears and she started crying. And I told her, well, that is the only way. If you do that, I guarantee you that you'll have a future. Your eyes will be open. And look at this. She did that. She's now in the United States. She's doing very well as a medical doctor. The young man who she said will not let, the guy is still the same person he is. but she has a destiny.
Yeah.
She can see that she had waited for 22 years, wasted it, but thank God she made the decision. And it's happening with a lot of people today. You know, they don't want to wake up to reality.
Yeah.
No time is too late for you to get it right.
Wow. Oh my God. You know what? Time is not on our side. And there's so much we've not yet unpacked. But we are promising you that this conversation is not ending here. We are going to proceed with this conversation into our next episode. So thank you so much for tuning in and keeping it at Prayer Cave TV. And I'm telling you, and I know, don't keep this word for you. Share, share, share. Help somebody out there, and I know their life is going to be transformed. Thank you so much for tonight. And until last Saturday, keep it here at Prayer Cave TV.
You're watching Prayer Cave TV.